No, ini bara.
Alright, okay.
Welcome. Basically, lot of lala me along is cool, man, that I can really relax.
What the madam?
Yeah,
What the madam?
Yeah.
Let them do somebody.
That's fine.
Grand Villa.
Grand Villa.
That's fine.
Slowly. Yes. No.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people are basically me alone because they relax. So it's basically that I can understand.
Nina Fanny say what? Nidia, Nena Grand Villa is the best guest house in the Gambia.
Beji andikam Grand Villa Guest House. Na labungol bebe senyaring adum na bungol bebe nyarandiring coming ibela fila ila suwe taranyame. Intel Grand Villa na kiliano la lafino wale mukangoti intel kang. Na ye sabati Grand Villa yela kodo na fa kalamuta.
Oh man, this is like a paradise.
I know.
I so much love this place.
Yes, thank you.
Trust me, I love this place.
You can move someone and you're watching what? Kapin Jang and you want to Gambia. Grand Villa.
I tell you. I love this place. Okay. I love this place, man. Oh yeah.
Ni leftan na kuo keso sotola. Futama Oljuntum Paradise Estate. Mbaya kumandiroke 7527-218. Wale futan na website auto www.grandvillaguesthouse.com. Grand Villa Guest House.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
Yaran yin la domoro ka diatel
boy janno sikes restaurant
e say nakko be ni na dimbal nimba domoro kala janno
domoro seneyata adiyata topotoro fanan kendema bije luntan during tamala abeka domoro ki janni adi manda wala de te ka we bijele anim fanan ka fadi jang ikono e fa e ka fa minne ko pastry anim bakery iko fanan be kalele badde lomba conference lomba workshop lomba ye fo pendin lo dunya kono domoro betama ñillom international o to number 1
amanke ba do mo la jang damal
esa do mo jang is atariya
wo mu kubandi
sa na ko sa futandin
oto sa na ko be mu CK's restaurant
dafa na janna mu yat ni manje do mbijam
aban
CK's restaurant, known for best quality food and customer satisfaction.
All right.
Honey, did you remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But don't you know about Baluwo?
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 What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
No, ini bara. Okay. Welcome. Basically, lot of lala me along is cool, man. That I can really relax. What the madam? Yeah, what the madam?
Yeah.
Let them do somebody.
That's right.
Grand Villa.
Grand Villa.
That's fine.
Slowly. Yes.
No. Yeah, actually, a lot of people are basically me along very relaxed.
Thank you very much, colleagues, and welcome to the premises of the Gambia Press Union this morning. Mustafa Kedabo, the Vice President of the Union, and sitting next to me is Mr. Sekou Jambe, is the Secretary General of the Union. Of course, to give just a brief introductory remark about the reason why we are holding this press conference. A lot of you were actually at the center of it. We know yesterday there was a protest, and this protest by a movement calling itself 3 Years Jotna led to arrest of 4 journalists and close down of 2 media houses, both of them radio. That's the reason why we are holding this press conference, to issue our collective position as media workers and as journalists on this position, and to talk about its significance within the context of our transition from a dictatorship into a democracy. This is perhaps the most significant thing that happened in our transition, because it's all too reminiscent of our past, and it's perhaps everything we thought we would not have to confront during this period and move on as a country. And that's why the union think it's very important that it comes out and issue a statement on this. And while it engage the partners in the government to solve the situation. So Mr. Sekou Jammeh is just going to immediately read that statement, and from the reading of the statement, we will take questions from each one of you on issues of our concern and issues pertaining to the press statement. Mr. Jammeh, you.
Okay, thank you. So this statement actually that I am coming to read represents the official position of the Gambia Press Union. And it begins. The past 24 hours actually witnessed the most aggressive attack on press freedom since this new government assumed office in 2017. Between 12 noon and 2 p.m., Modu Bojang was taken away from the studio by the police. And although the authorities have refused to confirm his whereabouts to us, we've made a lot of inquiries. We have learned through reliable sources that he was detained at the PIU headquarters in Kanifing before later in the evening he was taken to the anti-crime offices in Bigelow. The story of Pamodu and that of Home Digital is similar to that of King FM, where about a dozen armed PIU personnel about the same time stormed the offices there in Talinding and ordered the staff out of the premises. They shut down the radio station and they whisked away 3 journalists. And they include the manager, Jibi Jallo, and a reporter, Ibrahim Jallo. And the third person, we are yet to confirm the name because according to the staff, he is quite new there. So in essence, from the disturbances of yesterday, we have 2 radio stations shut down and 4 journalists detained after their arrest. And all these actions were done without any legitimate basis. We are in receipt of the press release that the government issued last night confirming the closure as well as the arrest and detention of the journalist. The government dispatch states that the radio stations were shut down because they were broadcasting incendiary messages. This is unfounded and it is very disappointing. For we have confirmed from multiple sources, including the manager of King FM, that the radio station did not broadcast any information about the protest. The station had throughout yesterday, until the time that it was closed, been playing music that had no bearing on the disturbances. Home Digital FM indeed was broadcasting messages about the protest. And again, we at the GPU have gone to the scene and we have confirmed from multiple sources, from the staff working there to the people that were listening to the radio at the time, and they all confirmed to us that there was no such message on the radio. The burden of proof here lies on the government to come out with evidence to say that this indeed was what Home Digital was saying, and this is how bad that message was. So therefore, we are of the considered view
that the closure of the radio stations were arbitrary, one, which makes it also unlawful. Equally, the proclamation contained in yesterday's press release, which appeared to warn journalists against presenting divergent views on the 3 years Jotna issue, is as dangerous as it is unlawful. It has no legitimate basis, and therefore we call on the media to disregard it and present diverse opinions as possible on this issue of legitimate interest. We will challenge any attempt by the government to pursue further with the implementation of this proclamation. And if you know our history, you know we will do this because we've done this before at the Supreme Court of the Gambia. We've done something like this before the ECOWAS Court. We've done it before the UPR, and we are ready to go to any length to make sure that press freedom prevails in the country. We are saying the proclamation and the order for the closure, they were very unlawful because the Information and Communication Act, this is the piece of legislation that governs broadcasting in this country. And Section 237 of it indeed gives powers to the Minister of Information, who grants broadcasting license to revoke or suspend it. That power the minister has. The security has no power to shut down any radio station or any media house. And through our consultations with the minister, we have confirmed, or he has confirmed to us, that no such order came from the office of the minister. And even if it came from the office of the minister, the law didn't just stop at giving the minister the powers. It lays down conditions, and those conditions have not been met. So for us, we know why exactly the radio stations were shut down. And we know why Sankule was attacked, and we also know why the journalists were arrested and detained. And we are looking no further. And while it is not our remit to comment on the substance of the debate on the issue of the tenure of the president and the dispute arising from that, as a union and as an institution of democratic governance, we call on the government to launch an independent inquiry into the disturbances and act in a manner that is just, rather than banning groups, rather than arresting people. There is no doubt that the way this whole issue of 3 years Jotna was handled and the heavy-handedness of the security yesterday makes a mockery of our transitional justice process, and it also makes a mockery of our ongoing democratic reforms. In conclusion, we call on the government to immediately release the journalist and lift the unlawful ban on the radio stations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think this statement is clear. If there is anybody who also needs this statement to be emailed to you, we can have a list to go around and a paper go around, and your emails will be written on them. And we will send them to you as soon as this press conference is finished. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. And now we will take questions from you on any issues that you need further clearance. Yes.
Good morning. I am Aisha Dujala from Gambian Challenge TV. According to Mr. Ibrahim Silla, the spokesperson of the government, I quoted, "The GPU is condemning the closure of the radio stations because they don't know the whole truth about why they were closed. What is your reaction to that?" And the other question is, a lot of journalists don't have hope in the GPU. in the way the GPU handles the cases involving harassment of journalists, simply because the GPU only releases statements and enter into negotiations which barely yields any dividends. What is your reaction to that? Thank you.
The second one is a quote from Silla, or that's...
Silla, Mr. Ibrahim Silla.
He's the one who talks about also
yes,
GPU,
the GPU
people not having faith on GPU?
No.
Okay, that's a question.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. The thing is, let me start with the first one you said, the last one. The most important thing is that, like Sekou has alluded to, GPU has a history of acting whenever journalists are in problem. GPU has filed cases at the Supreme Court of the Gambia against the state, and we filed cases against the state at the ECOWAS court level. And there were cases we've won, incredibly. And GPU, you would know, under Jambe, we were perhaps the strongest institution, a trade union that stands by its own people, regardless of the risk involved. We did that under Barrow. We were not actually soft when it comes to opposing attacks on press freedom in this country. If you had listened to Sekou, there were a number of violations that had happened, of course, when Barrow came to power. And in all those cases, we don't just issue press releases, but we've engaged Communication Minister, Mr. Ibrahim Silla, on some of those issues. We engage seriously, we've taken seriously in the past threats against freedom of expression, and we will take it more seriously now. The second part about Mr. Ibrahim Silla, about us not knowing the whole
truth about the closure of the two radio stations.
So the reality is that we do. Immediately when Pamodu was being arrested, we learned of it. Sekou and I drove directly to the radio station, and we found paramilitary officials there, and they guarded the whole place. But since that moment, we were on this same issue, driving from one police station to another, and one place to another, to ascertain the facts. So we were on our toes. Actually, we stopped at past 8 p.m. We were on it since the time of the arrest, noon, until past 8 p.m. So we gathered the facts. We know what we were talking about. In fact, we went to the house of the Interior Minister. We called him. We went to his house, and Sekou was there. The president of the Gambia Press Union, Mr. Sirim Boyan Jr. was there, and we had some accompany. We went to the office of the anti-crime office, and we were in touch with people who've confirmed to us the presence of some of these journalists at paramilitary headquarters. So we were aware. We went to King FM. We met Mr. Gibi Jallo. We met Mr. Keba Kamara. And we were at the radio as well. And we got information, in fact, this morning, that the radio stations were taking over. So basically, let's not allow the narrative to be taken over by some idle talk. The basis is that the basis upon which the state rely to shut down media houses, as Sekou has alluded to, is unlawful. There is no such thing as GPU know the facts, GPU do not know the facts. Sekou was there, Sekou was not there. Basically, the premise of the state's decision is unlawful. And that's what the Secretary General is trying to get you to understand. And the second thing is the Gambia Press Union has been in touch with all these partners. I mean, we are engaging. GPU went to a point when we even had to draft certain bills so that we make the work of the state easier in an effort to facilitate a free media environment. In fact, GPU played a part in the making of the Freedom of Information Bill. And there were a lot of engagements, incredible. GPU has been, even Minister of Justice, when he met us, when we started our engagement on the drafting of the FOI bill, he said,
when it comes to broadcast journalism in this country, and he died without living to the fullest his dreams of developing an amazing broadcast industry. And I do not think that Babukar Gay will be proud of that kind of statement from Silla. Because Silla, as a journalist who has suffered like a lot of us did, therefore owes us an explanation better than that, and not just to say GPU is condemned because we do not know.
Yes. So my first question is, first of all, my name is Yusef Taylor from Ghana Online News. My first question is specifically about the journalists who are hired by not security forces. Okay, security forces can be dealt with through the authorities and courts or whatever. How does GPU intend, this one I think is a little bit of a challenge, to deal with this issue of the public 3 years job now, maybe even to be engaged? Some of their protesters have attacked a journalist. There's a member and a award-winning journalist. How does GPU intend to deal with that particular issue? And then secondly, there appears to be a disconnect between what Ibrahim Silla is saying. You quoted the section in the information bill which highlights that if any closure should occur, it should come from his office. But yet still, he seems to not be aware that that is his responsibility and it cannot be dished out to the security forces. But then he's also saying, justifying the reasons that these people have also been, held under shutdown of the media. So, what's your view on this these two different messages? He's not taking responsibility. So those two things, basically.
As far as I know, Ibrahim didn't quote any law in his intervention on West Coast. Nor did the government spokesman quote any law or make reference to any law in the press release. And that's exactly what we did. We quoted a section that gives powers to the minister to act in certain manners. And then there should be conditions. I have followed, his discussion. And what Ibrahim said, you might have listened to it, is that as a government, this is their decision and the security cannot take the blame. They have taken the responsibility. This is not how the rule of law is about.
Maybe the GPU in fact know the extent of damage towards the media yesterday, because what happened to Sankule equally happened to two GRTS staff, one cameraman and one reporter at State Corner. I was there with the GPU president, but maybe he left before the incident occurred. They forcefully dragged them out of the protest, accusing them of being supportive of government or not reporting about the 3 years job. Now this is the 3 years job. They were equally verbally attacked, insulted, and forcefully dragged. Others were trying to stone them, but thank God they had few people who covered them up and take them out of the place. I think the GPU should work on that, engage the GRTS on those two reporters if you are going to take any action. My question is going to be with regards to...
Well, on that, because when the protest started and when media houses started deploying their staff on the ground, we opened a line of communication with almost all the media outlets, at least the major ones. And then there isn't a single editor or a manager of a media house that I have not called. My question has been quite simple, and he was there. How are you? How are your people? I hope no one is hurt. Please, if you have any such incident, do tell me, including GRS editors. And they told me no one was attacked.
That's weird.
Well, so I cannot go beyond. I cannot actually go beyond that. I have called from Foria to GRS to QTV, Alu. All of you, might have witnessed. I called people, including those that are not reporting for media houses. When I
correspondent Mahmoud Stevens. In your statement, you are quoted saying, we know the reason why Sankula Jango is being attacked or manhandled. We know the reason why Pamodu Bojang is being arrested and the closure of his radio station together with King Efon. Can you reveal to us some of these reasons? Because I believe if these reasons are revealed to the media, it will help us and then help us to do our job easily. And also on the side of our colleagues, I who said we should, refrain for ourselves from helping these politicians with their political proxy wars. Because many of our journalists at times, will say that Minister So said this and this against the GPU or that. But that's not our job as journalists. Our job is as you stated what the law said and not what the minister said.
The reason is as clear as everything that you are currently seeing under the sun. And that is they want to supplant our freedom with fear. They want to silence the media. And there is a pattern here, and this is not just for journalists. There is a pattern here that every citizen and everyone who has interest on the Gambia should look at. When Jammeh wanted to violate people's rights, at the scale that he did, when he wanted to plunder people's resources, public funds, at the scale that he did, what he first did was suppress the press so that there will be no dissent, so that there will be no watchdog. And the type of media that they usually target to succeed in that is radio, because radio is the king. All of us have been here between 1997 and 2001. We know, as young as we were, the impact that Citizen FM was making in the Gambia. All of us here were here where Tarangal FM started defining some of those state of affairs, and they started broadcasting.
Is that, well, the pattern, I mean, let's say we talked about on the Gambia, it's the same thing that also happened under the new dispensation. It doesn't have to, even when the coalition government was happening. There were attacks on journalists. I mean, you may take these things lightly, but every attack, it's a threat to press freedom, but not just that, but it also makes someone scared of doing his job. There were attacks on journalists, nothing was done about it. Sekou made a list of number of journalists. There were a number of engagements with the media the government has had before. What happened to those engagements? The official press conference at State House, what happened to it? It died. The official press conference with the office of the spokesperson of the State House, what happened to it? It died. The official press conference of the communication minister, Demba Ali Jawa, started. What happened to it? It died. And this is something that had happened. Last year, the communication minister, Mr. Ibrahim Asila, came out and issued a threatening word against radio broadcasters. And everybody complained and he withdrew it and said, well, he didn't mean to scare them. He was merely saying, but he threatened that they were doing things that were not in accordance with their licensing. They were doing things that were threatening the stability of the country, and they were doing things. And this is, of course, the stability in his definition. It is the stability in his own mind. And when government defines what is stability, what is news, then what's the point being an independent person in the newsroom? So this is the problem. And not just that, but they've continued to push the limits. Mr. Silla himself, at the launch of GPU-sponsored community radio project, which GPU was trying to do to strengthen the community radios, he came there and the same thing. He was complaining about FM stations all over the country, linking community radios linking to FM stations that are airing political content. But this is the reason why we have free marketplace of ideas. When I go to Fatu Network or Kerfatu or Gambia Talent Promotion or any media organization and I said the government has done X, Y, and Z and it's corrupt, you go to the same place as a government spokesperson and say what you think is right.
This is the basis of free marketplace of ideas. This is why we need to have all information out there so that the citizen are able to judge what is right and what is wrong. You can't treat people like they are children. They don't have a brain to think. That somehow, if Sekou Jammeh goes to sit at a radio and asks Umar to tie a bomb around his waist and go and detonate, that Umar was going to just jump up because he's a donkey. And that's the assumption of the state. That somehow people are childish, people don't have a brain to think, and they must be controlled. And somehow the content that is exposed to these people must be controlled. You see, it's manufactured.
Died yesterday, that was false. And as journalists also, there is what is called responsibility and ethic. Do you agree also today the current situation of the country is fragile, and maybe if a journalist made a mistake, it should be denounced also? And the question today is, have you find out what is today the main reason that these two radios, have been closed, and the arrest of these journalists? Because some are accusing them of, connivance with the 3 years journal. And also, it's a responsibility of a journalist not to burn down, a country. The question is today, what is also that responsibility of journalists on the current situation, of the country? Thank you so much.
You want to take it or you want me to take it?
No, take it.
This is a very interesting narrative. First, let me address the journalist that was reporting about the Gambia, but it's outside of the Gambia. You see, when we are talking about issue of press freedom, when we are talking about free marketplace of ideas, that is why I was saying there are 35 radio stations, FM radio stations, if I am right, in this country. There are dozens of online platforms. If there is any information party puts there that is not right, this government has the biggest propaganda machinery in this country. And make no mistake about it, the only institution in this country that can burn down this country is government. Make no mistake about that. A journalist cannot burn down this country. The only person, no, let me land. The only person with bunch of arsenals and bombs is the government. It's not the journalist. Now, what journalists in this country do, and responsibly so, is to go out and put out information on various platforms for people to be informed. Now, one thing the government can do is when there is any form of misinformation out there or disinformation, it's the government that can come out and say, no, this is not right, this is what is right. And not only can you do that with the media house that publish the same content, and you have seen the example with Foraya newspaper. In fact, you made mention of Foraya. When Foraya published that report, and say, for AFP took it from Foraya.
And it's unfortunate.
I know the connection where I know the connection, and I'm coming to that. I know the connection between, because it's the same person who edited the Foraya online content that writes for AFP. And let me address this issue. Now the point is, Sekou and I were driving going to Antigua when I saw this online. I have a friend at Serekunda General Hospital that I called, because from the look of things, my conclusion was that this is less likely to have happened. So I called the doctor, and the doctor told me no. I saw the report, but it's false. And I called the journalist right away to say the information you put out, I am getting, it's false. And the manager, the CEO of the hospital, immediately called Sekou. So people were on top of issues, and immediately what did Foraya do? As responsible as they are, Foraya is led by Uncle Samuel Sarr. He is one of the most respected journalists in this country. There is hardly anybody in the who practices journalism in this country who is more responsible than him. He has that history, and he corrected. It was corrected immediately. And Fatu Network did the same. Because, and all those took it from Foraya. Now, with regards to the person who is outside of the country That's not our responsibility. It's not within the GPU. But remember, those people could have been here too and covering the protest. Probably, if they were here, they wouldn't have reported false news in your language, false news, right? But the problem is, let's not politicize what journalists do. The so-called
Absolutely false. There is no factual truth on it. They said they made thorough investigation about the issue. How can you make thorough investigation about the issue? You don't consult the victims. After releasing the statement, 3 days later, you start asking the victims what went wrong. And you said you made thorough investigation. So the GPU on that aspect, before the government statement, you were pushing them to investigate the issue. But after releasing that fake information, that fake news to the public, I didn't hear anything from the GPU. I don't know the steps that you people are taking towards that issue.
Okay, I will react to that. Of course, you see a lot of...
Yes,
because
and they also said... Can I add something? Sorry.
Yeah, see,
and the rumor going around right now is that the government gave us each $50,000 as compensation. I even called Sekou, I called Sheriff to tell him, to inform them the rumor going on. Because I went to the village, my village, in Romi. They told me, where is the $50,000? So the rumor is going around, it's circulating.
Yeah,
so
okay, we will address that. Yes, because you were also, your staff is also...
One of my staff was a victim, and they said they write a message to try to say they were apologizing and they would get back to the media houses that had damages. And until this minute, myself, my global coordinator, we didn't hear from government, nor the government spokesperson or the minister or anybody in the government.
London called me earlier about this issue, and I told him that we are putting together a brief that will be submitted to the National Human Rights Council. And I said earlier that we've started consultations with that body to push all these cases before the National Human Rights Commission. But if any one of you also, I mean, if you are interested in taking any action for what happened to you, of course, you know, you are completely at liberty to do that. Definitely.
And GPU will support anyone in that direction. I think even after
it will be tough to support at that individual level, because we are talking about more than 12 cases, and we want to put everything together and then submit it once. That will be easier for technical and financial reasons also. Yeah, and probably it will make more impact. Yeah, but I cannot agree more with you with regards to government being the peddler of false news. I mean, what happened yesterday wasn't false news. I mean, the information was just inaccurate, and that happens. There's a difference between putting out information that is not accurate and false news. False news means you have the intention to misinform or disinform people. Inaccurate information is when it happens inadvertently. And we know in this case the journalist was actually on the ground, and he said he spoke to the CEO about this, and the CEO said this. The CEO then came out and said, oh no, I didn't say it. So it's quite still a mystery. So maybe, like I said in one of my social media posts, it could be a case of lost in translation, or maybe a slip of the tongue, or maybe the journalist didn't hear him or her correctly. But
or maybe he may have even said 3 casualties so far.
But journalists have done amazingly well. When you look at all these events that are happening in the country, and you see the press reports, you hardly see any sort of significant inaccuracy, and that is quite tremendous. And I think we should, we hardly do this, but then we should actually commend ourselves for that. I mean, apart from the fact that we are always on the front line, we put our life on the line. We have seen yesterday with the tear gas issue with the protesters themselves. I mean, but we've tried, despite all those difficulties, to put a comprehensive information about the events that were happening, and also spontaneous. I mean, all of us were following events from multiple sources, journalists on the ground. And that's quite commendable. If you have just one incident or one case of inaccurate reporting.
Only said you go as far as engaging the police. What about engaging them, these executives and these individuals, those groups as well, with regards to how their members are attacking?
I mean, that will be a question of maybe, pushing for some sort of dialogue. And at this point, I think we've dialogued enough. All right? What happened to Sankula was criminal. So therefore, the police should do what is appropriate. If we have, opportunity to dialogue with them, of course, we are not going to say no. But then, from our point of view, our position is what happened to Sankula is criminal. And therefore, those that did it should face the full force of the law, if not to be consumed by the law.
Yes, okay. My name is Yuspadago from DHA. I just want to ask whether, like, already government has closed those radio, the two radio stations we're talking about. After reopening them, are they going to compensate them? Because it will, they will have some losses because they are doing business with other, business entities. So is GPU going to compel the government to compensate them, or you will leave them like that?
Well, these are. You see, I said earlier that we are going to engage a lawyer, and the instructions are very clear to take an action against the government. We think that there is a case of unlawful arrest. We think that there is a case of arbitrary and unlawful closure of media house, which means that loss of business also. I mean, so if it goes to the level of the courts and the court deems it fit, or deems that our prayers, have some form of credibility, they may actually order the government to pay compensation to the media houses that are affected. But for now, we can't say whether government is going to compensate them because we are going to court. So that is something for the court to say. And I don't want to also say anything that will preempt the line of action that our lawyer will eventually take. Yeah.
We know there are calls for the union to take this to the ECOWAS level. How far will you take this? Have you discussed will you consider doing this and taking this issue to the ECOWAS level?
Not with the ECOWAS court. Yeah, so the beautiful thing about the ECOWAS court is that the protocol allows people to access the court without exhausting local remedies. So we can just jump and go to ECOWAS court. But then in this case, I think we would want to, go to the courts. I think confidence on the court system is building, and we want to capitalize on that to see what the outcome will be. And of course, if we are not satisfied with it, nothing stops us from going to ECOWAS court. If not ECOWAS court, even if we are not satisfied, we can go as far as where the Justice Minister had gone, the ICJ.
Check your text. Yeah, yes, yeah.
Yeah, the government of the Gambia is still settling scores with the Gambia Press Union, one would say. And if I may ask, what is the stand of the GP in coming out of this situation?
Well, I would not say the government of the Gambia. I mean, there had been a number of attacks, but there were good moments, and we can still do it. So the relations hasn't broken down.
Sorry, any news from Sankule since yesterday? He promised to call me, but
because his phone has broken down.
Taken away.
Taken away, yes. So there was a bit of a communication challenge.
I put it out in the group that if anybody comes close to him, let us know, because we don't know how to get in touch with him.
He took my number and he promised to call me, but since yesterday, and his guy from Dakar, they're calling me,
Yeah.
I worry about him.
So we will definitely be in touch, and probably
one of his brothers.
Probably he's a bit devastated,
Yeah.
These things can be serious. Maybe last question and then we wrap up, right?
Yeah. The question that I had is sort of related to the press, and it's sort of showing a trend. Gambia is now growing a lot of international interest. We saw BBC a few weeks ago write about quoting somebody who was previously a part of the media, but still part of us, Lamin Fatih, and apparently misquoting him and we saw what happened. He was questioned by securities. Yeah, and that was the Sun newspaper. We are seeing Al Jazeera as well. So what have GPU discussed the issue of the Sun newspaper and Lamin Fati? What's your position on that? And finally, our recently crowned Media Press Freedom champion. Any word from them? Will they be championing press freedom at this time when it is most needed? We give them some comments.
Certainly, we have a very fantastic working relationship with the Ministry of Justice, the Minister in particular, and we have, in fact, I wasn't going to say this if not for your question, but then we have, in fact, started discussions with him on ways of criminalizing assault on journalists in the Gambia. It could be a specific legislation that we will have to come up with, or maybe an amendment to some existing legislations that we have, whereby any assault on journalists will be dealt with under a specific law. Of course, the argument against this, we all know across the world, is that in every country or in every society, you have laws that criminalize assault. And journalists, being members of the society, do not have any privileged status. So if they are attacked, those criminal code or the criminal laws will take care of that. But the question we always ask is, why, if those laws are there to protect everyone, why is it that they've never been there for journalists? So probably, as a case for us to have a specific one for journalists. Yeah. Well, Sun newspaper case is quite interesting because Lamin is my friend also. Yeah, it's our friend. But then when we had the opportunity, not through some public, but when we had the opportunity to make known our stance on this issue, we did. We told the authorities and those that were responsible for that, prolonged interrogation, that this is how we put it. It was a terrible idea to even call him for questioning. It was very terrible. Because here is the thing. I earlier on spoke about the chilling effect, and this is where the public should always be alert to. If people like Lamin, the national coordinator of CPA, if people like Ismaila Cissé, a political scientist, if people like Mama Kande, a political figurehead, could be taken to police and interrogated for statements that they make that are very harmless, it promotes a chilling effect in the sense that an ordinary person wouldn't want to find him or herself in a position that Mama or Ismaila or Lamin would find himself and defend himself. Because apart from the fact that it is time consuming, you have to probably get a lawyer and then your people will be worried about you. Ordinary people wouldn't want to go through that process. It's very challenging. And what they do, if they see the state going after Mama,
the Gambia and want to build your dream home, then this is ideal for you. Just reach out to Boss Construction and let's start building the dream home into a reality. With Boss Construction, the difference is clear. We give you value for money. Some of our services includes the following: construction management, building equipment rentals, rent management, purchase and leasing, asset management, and many more. For more information, please contact 282-4945. Better still, send us an email, bossgambia@gmail.com, or you can also visit our website on www.bossgambia.com. Boss Construction, a name you can trust. Boss Construction and Asset Management, keeping families together.
No lañ def ñoo ñëw ak yéen rek Skincare Plus nara jàkkaarloo ak yéen waxtaan ak yéen tuuti rek si suñu tube suñu baax emuñ rek ci ay diw waaye comme ni ngeen ko xamee rek dañoo yëngu ci ay tube te yënguwuñ nag si just any tube suñ tube bu nekk 5 star Jasna la 5 star Jasna mooy Jasna bi gën a pire moom la ñoo tube palmaan bi gën a fort moom la ñoo liggéeyee ñun rek si tube dara du doy day des not only dañoo tube but bu la neexee ñu tuubal la ba pare nag ñawal la We're not all about skin. We are skin, care, and the plus. And the plus does come in so many different ways.